What up, everybody? All right, back for more. There's no such thing as too much talk about principles and things that really matter. So today we're going to go into the principle of self-awareness. How does that apply to your life? What's even the benefit of that? Why should you be self-aware? Well, have you ever had times in your life where you aren't aware of what's going on? Yeah, there's probably times when life ends up not being really good. Because, why do I say that? Because when you don't have self-awareness, different things will come out of nowhere and blindside you. It's like when you're on edge, you don't necessarily know why you're not happy or why you're feeling some type of way. It's because you don't have awareness of what's really going on inside you. And then you can start pulling that apart and actually then deal with the stuff that's not supporting you. So that's self-awareness. And over the years, I used to think I had self-awareness, and then I got real with myself and was looking at the different results I was creating in my life, and it wasn't really there. I spent a lot of time meditating. For years I would meditate like 2 hours, an hour to 2 hours a day, in different intervals. But like I thought I needed to close my eyes and meditate in order to feel some type of way and just get in that zone. And I think there may be a time and place for meditation. Everyone's got their own style. But real self-awareness doesn't have to be something that you set aside for a specific time of the day. Rather, it's an ongoing expression of who you are, is that you're aware of who you really are as yourself. And then, in turn, you get a deeper understanding of what self actually is. And it's important, to say the least. So let's jump into what the actual principle is and why it is going to radically improve your life, even if you already do have self-awareness, to really look at it in a new unit of time. I like to call it, for myself, I do self-reflection Saturdays. So I look at my past week and what I did, what was good, what was bad, what did I plan on doing that I succeeded in, what did I plan on doing that I didn't do. And in that, it's a routine ability for myself to look at, am I really moving forward in my life, and then not just in my life, but in the impact that I'm having with others, so that I can support others. And that's been phenomenal for me to schedule that. So, here we are, Saturday, Self-Reflection Saturdays, and that is my part of my process of developing that self-awareness. So let's jump in. Self-awareness, this is in the description. An active reflection and seeing of what is happening inside myself, my thoughts, emotions, feelings, reactions, and understanding that I am at all times responsible for what I accept and allow and what I participate in, and thus give my power and attention to. Again, loaded statement. Active reflection, right? Let's start with that. What does active reflection look like for you? Are there times where you have actively reflected before on different things in your life? And a lot of people avoid self-reflection because they don't necessarily have tools and the confidence in applying those tools to actually work through any of the things that they face. So it's like, of course we'd be afraid of looking at our past or looking at different things that are happening if we aren't sure of how to actually address it and sort it out. So this is now in the principle of self-awareness. It's active reflection and seeing what's happening inside myself. And you'll notice there's a lot going on in there. It's like a whole universe inside you, and it's really worth investigating, because if you aren't even willing to look at yourself, well, then you're just staying surface level your whole life. Like, really look at questioning yourself, because there's so much benefit in it. There's a gold mine within you. Right? There's so much greatness, and this is not just some cliche thing I'm just spewing out. Like, genuinely, you have all the gifts that you're looking for are in yourself. They're within. You have to give them to yourself. That's why we talk about self-forgiveness. It's you giving that to yourself, but it requires self-awareness and self-reflection. So what we're talking about is the active reflection and seeing what's happening inside myself, the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, the reactions, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Reactions, times where someone says something and you know just feel some type of way, even if they didn't intend that, and then you loop on it because it's like bothering you. Well, that's how your mind's actually designed. It's a conflict generating machine, and so thoughts, feelings, emotions, all of that. It's like a pinball game, and it just flies all around and lights up. Now this is the process of actually dismantling that and then recalibrating your mind, your consciousness, and all that, so that it can actually be calibrated, and it can support you in directing yourself to what it is that you actually want to do, and the actual best expression of yourself. That's what this is about, is going back to principle 1, best for all. So calibrate your mind to what's best for all, and then live in that awareness. It's a process. So now, this is the other part of part 1 here in the principle, is understanding that I am at all times responsible for what I accept and allow and what I participate in, and thus give my power and attention to. This sounds a lot like what I just talked about last night. The principle of self-responsibility. It's being aware of your ability to respond and what you're accepting and allowing within yourself. So if you have times where you have these voices in your head of like you judging yourself or what someone else said, and it's like you can hear it, right? That's something that you're accepting and allowing, and most likely it's not serving you. Now, with self-awareness, you can be aware of just the extent that that's happening, and then with tools like self-forgiveness and things like that, you can begin working through it. But check this out, this last part. What I participate in and thus give my power and attention to. As we let that thought train run, right? That train of thought, especially like before you go to bed, sometimes it gets crazy. It's like a storm in your mind. And that, if you go into it, that's what you're giving your power and your attention to. And that it means that there's less power and attention for you to actually focus it on what really matters. That's going to move your life forward and help you work through the stuff that you really do want to work through. So instead of giving your power and attention to all these thoughts, emotions, feelings, and all that, through self-awareness, you can take responsibility and then focus that back on yourself, and then actually, like what I was just talking about, pulling out those gifts that are within you, because there's so much insight just waiting to be had. It just requires you to have a simple structure of how to structurally approach what it is that is going on inside you, inside that brain and your body, and all the traumas and issues and arguments and everything we've had over all these years just gets layered in and pent in, and there's layers on layers on layers, and it's like multi-dimensional, multifaceted, and it's overall, if you don't have what you want in your life, if you're not happy where you are, well, that means it's your decision, you can apply some self-awareness, and then we can actually really start looking at that, so then you can redesign your life so you are getting the things you want. Because if you don't have enough money to pay your bills right now, that's not a good position to be in. I would much rather you and everyone be in a position where there's enough money and our needs are met and we have good food and clean water and things like that. So that's again why I'm making these videos. They all interplay with each other. Going back to the top one, what's best for all? And what's best for all is that we all apply self-responsibility and self-awareness to ourselves, where we can then become aware of all this stuff that's going on and then work through it. So here's the other part to this. To realize that my words become deeds, and thus the words I allow within become the actions and consequences I create without. Wow. Vocabulary, right? There's so much in here. Even though it's simple, like you can read it, but if you really understand this and process it and make sense of this, I mean, this will forever change your life, even one of these principles. Okay, so to realize that my words become deeds. So what I'm talking about ends up turning into deeds. Let's even get a real proper definition of deeds. Define deed. I'm not talking about the legal definition, just an action that is performed intentionally or consciously. Yeah, otherwise it's like a legal document. Okay, so it's an action that is performed intentionally or consciously. So my words become deeds, and thus the words I allow within become the actions and consequences I create without. So whatever words you're saying, words are powerful, right? Words, I mean, for those who look at the Bible, they say in the beginning was the Word. Right? There's a reason this whole live stream is words. There's a reason you go on Facebook and yeah, there's pictures, but oh wait, what did they say? A picture is worth 1,000 what? Yeah, words. Right? So words are they're each these tools that allow us to actually sculpt the reality and make sense of the world around us. With understanding the words that we're accepting and allowing within ourselves, that is an indicator of then how we're going to act in the world, right? And then that then also indicates the consequences of those actions. And that's what's going on both inside us, but then outside, because the inside and the outside are intricately connected. And so looking at and being aware of those words that we're allowing within ourselves, and then intentionally choosing those words that we want to live, and then becoming the living word, that right there, that's self-awareness in action. And then it's a process of over time, like I'm saying, I do self-reflection Saturday, so that I can now look at what have I been living the past week? Is it what's actually best, or am I just deceiving myself? That takes real self-honesty, right? That was that second video I made on the principles, is real self-honesty with the self-awareness. But when you have this and it all works together, you will become unstoppable in whatever it is that you want to create. You need to apply it over time. I suggest you be part of groups with people that are doing this so you can hold each other accountable and support each other. And when you have all of this, you can unlock whatever it is you want for yourself in the world. I mean, you have to use common sense and reasoning and know you can't just go defy gravity and go fly. Like, be realistic. However, when you have self-awareness, whatever then you want to set yourself to and direct yourself to, it is absolutely possible. But you need these principles in order to do it. Otherwise, you will compromise and it will all end up disappearing if you're not built on solid principles, right? You got to have a foundation before you can build. And the principle of self-awareness is a key part of the foundation. Without it, you don't even know what's here. You're just chasing something outside yourself. Like a donkey being led with a carrot, and you want that carrot, and you're going for it, but you don't even know that that's a game being played, and you're stuck in it. But with self-awareness, you can start to see, wait, why do I want the carrot? Why is the carrot here? Where's the carrot coming from? Like, that's a rather crude analogy, but that's literally what's happening in our lives. So automated, on so much autopilot, that we just pull out our phones and just start scrolling through Facebook, not even realizing we're doing it. It's because it's dopamine and it feels good, right? But that's actually, I mean, and think about it, of course that's what's happening. Facebook, you know how much money they have going to their talent departments? I mean, they're recruiting the smartest people in the world between Facebook, Google, Amazon, so that they can keep you addicted to their platform. That's how they make their money. So it shouldn't be surprising that we just go through Facebook and we're just scrolling, and then like 20 minutes later you're like, oh my God, like how did I get here, right? But with self-awareness, you can start being aware of those kinds of things. But if you're just trying to be self-aware for like 10 seconds because you heard me say it in a video, or you saw a hashtag somewhere, you're like, oh, self-awareness, yeah, sick, like I'm so aware, right? If you don't have a consistent plan for implementing that in a way to actually live that self-awareness, it's not going to be real, it's not going to stick. It's like a seed that you can plant, but if it doesn't have enough nutrients, water, maybe there's too much sunlight, right, birds come by, whatever, like different things come and destroy that seed, then it's not going to stick. But when you can take the seeds that are these principles that I've been talking about, and I'm going for 13 days talking about the 13 principles, when you can plant those seeds in a good fertile environment, which is yourself, those end up over time taking root and growing. And some will grow fast, some will grow slow, but the fact is, that's how life works. It's just like a garden. It's exactly like it. So take the seeds that will be the most effective and beneficial for yourself and for everybody, plant them, nurture them, and be patient. None of this is overnight. Anyone